What is flexible working in early years? A time-wise presentation working in partnership with Leaf Nurseries and the Early Years Alliance. Demand for flexibility is higher than ever, with 9 in 10 people saying they're looking for flexibility at work, but only 31% of roles in education are advertised with flexible working options. That means we are potentially missing out on key talent. And we know through our research at TimeWise that flexible working supports better health and well-being, it improves levels of engagement and job satisfaction, and it makes it easier to attract and retain good staff. 85% of educators who work flexibly said that their well-being had improved as a result. But what does flex really mean in early years? Flexible working is about the where, the when, and the how much we work. Where is location-based flexibility? So, for example, the ability to work part of the time from other locations or from home. When is full-time flexibility? For example, compressing our full-time hours over a shorter period of time, whether that be a week or a fortnight. Or staggered hours, so staggering start and finish times across the week. Or the ability to choose shifts and have input into when we are working. And the how much is the reduced hours flexibility. So, for example, part-time working, shorter shifts, or job share arrangements. And it comes in two forms. Formal flexibility, which is fixed and usually written into an agreement or contract, and informal flexibility, which is agreed with management and can be temporary or occasional. We know that flexible working is tricky in the early years sector, and we know that as nursery managers, you are constantly balancing the needs of the nursery with the needs of your staff. Here's some examples of what flexible working in early years can really look like. Compressed hours working. So Scarlett is a level 3 practitioner who joined as an apprentice and is now a room leader. She initially worked 5 days a week, but found it was affecting her mental health and says she felt drained all the time. Scarlett spoke with her nursery manager about the impact it was having on her, and they agreed to trial a compressed 4-day week working pattern. She now says, long days are fine, the mornings are nice, and Friday is just for me. Another example is split shift working. At this particular nursery, there is a level 2 practitioner who works a flexible split shift working pattern of 7:30 till 11 a.m. and then 2 p.m. till 6 p.m. This working pattern was agreed with the nursery manager to enable the practitioner to manage a personal commitment. In this case, looking after horses. And the time was then covered by a part-time member of staff who worked the coveted 9:30 till 2 p.m. shift pattern. Part-time working is quite prevalent across the sector. Here we have an example of Chantel, who's a level 2 practitioner and works 3 days a week. She was previously full-time, but after maternity leave wanted to reduce her hours. She submitted a formal flexible working request to work 3 days a week and now works 8 till 6, Mondays, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Those are just some examples of flexibility that is happening right here, right now across the sector. But there are many other ways to flex within the early years education sector. Here are some more examples. So job sharing, where two people would share the responsibilities of one role. So this could be a room leader responsibility. It could be a key worker responsibility. It could be 2 level 2 practitioners who share the responsibility of one role for their room. Compressed fortnight working. So this is where you would be working longer hours on working days with 1 day off per fortnight. So similar to Scarlett's compressed 4-day week, but spread out over 2 weeks instead of 1. Staggered hours working. So this is where the working day starts and ends at a different agreed time. So for example, you might have one worker who starts 1 day a week at 10 a.m. and finishes later on that day. And self or team rostering. This is where the team or individuals have input into their working schedule and are able to swap shifts in order to suit their lives. Flexible working really can work in nurseries when you're able to balance these three needs. If you can find a way to find the overlapping section between what the nursery needs, so what are your opening hours? How many children do you have at any one point in time? What ratios are required? If you can balance that with the child and the family needs and with the needs of the individual member of staff, you will be able to find a way to make flexible working really work. And if you can do that, the benefits are great. You will be able to attract great people, retain great people, and improve well-being. You'll be better able to attract people to join your team. Remember, flexibility is the second most important factor for candidates after pay. You will have engaged, happier staff who are more able to balance work and life and more likely to stay with you through the course of their careers. And you will have improved health and well-being of your staff, which means they have more to give to the children and are less likely to need to take sickness absence. We understand this can feel a lot, but you can make a start today. Start small by reading the flexible working guidance for nursery managers, or open up a conversation with your team, your peers, your manager to think about how could this work for your nursery and what benefits would you gain if you were able to find a way to work more flexibly.